side, and now you're standing right in front of me. You were always in the back of my mind, and now you're standing right in front of me. You were always on the other side, and now I'm searching for the air to breathe. You were always in the back of my mind, always knew you were the enemy.
Doesn't the cactus flower need time to bloom? I think I found you in a cartoon, with a crooked hat and face like a moon. You share your flask with all around. I look at you, cause you sing found. Close your eyes, hear that sound. There's a pile of sweaters filled with holes, and empty cabinets filled with pearls. The world's pretty, but the sky's too loud. Can't read signs and my brain's a cloud. I'm holding paper flowers, unlighting melted candles, and sipping day-old coffee from mugs that don't belong to me.
Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up. I'm searching for you. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Always in the past my mind. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Always living my life.
Flying high, gliding by, resting on the cloud, whispering through the sky. I made this shit for you and I'm living by that do or die. Do you wanna ride in a caddy and chop it up? I got the sauce, just need the bread so I can sop it up. Say it ain't easy just to pock it up, cause we ain't pock enough, nah. Fly your way on my Zephyr to a whole new.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
Right.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
don't you ever disrespect
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the greatest podcast on earth. This is After Further Review, episode number 62. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I'm your other wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
I'm your favorite balded guy, Malin. How's everybody doing?
We are doing outstanding. Malin, how has your week been?
It's been fun since the Seahawks finally snapped a 3-game losing streak.
Oh, they finally got it together. Can we just get a little golf clap for the Seahawks right there? Finally.
You don't have to be patronizing 17 seconds into the show, Jalen. Not everybody can have Bill Belichick as their coach, goddammit.
Shaq, how was your week been?
I'm good. Just coming on through. For those women out there, people out there, my birthday's next week, so feel free to come on through and.
One of the first thing you said was those women out there. As soon as we're about to talk about your birthday.
Yeah, so look, I know some people are giving, so I like to put it out there.
Shaq about to go put a GoFundMe link across the screen.
Yes, folks. That was his formal invitation. If you would like to, especially the women out there, if you'd like to gift him anything, or
I'll take subs and likes and
right.
If I want to follow, I'll take that.
It's always a good gift any day of the week.
Exactly. Looking out for the show, y'all.
Before
Notice
we go,
he doesn't want to hang out with anybody. He just wants them to give him things.
We got comments. Drop a
pleasant comment.
Exactly.
Before we go any further, let's all take our ceremonious ASMR shot. This is for the audio listeners out there. Cheers.
Beautiful. Someone's got some fire going in there with that breath. Who was that? That was Jalen, wasn't it? He's coughing.
No. I was just trying to make it very pleasurable for audio listeners out there.
That's for John Doe in Nebraska or wherever you're listening from.
Shout out to Nebraska. Whatever goes on out there.
All right. To get into the actual show here, yes, folks, believe it or not, we're not just asking for GoFundMes and shots in your ears. To get into the actual show, want to start off by saying, if you are listening, there is a video version that we live stream every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So feel free to tune in, tell your friends, tell your family, have them all come join us live on Wednesday nights. And then if you can't have the pleasure of watching this live, you can always see the replay as soon as this is done. You can watch the replay whenever you want here on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel, and you can watch not only this show but a plethora of other shows on this network. So feel free to subscribe, drop a like, comment on any of the takes that we drop on this episode, and check out the video version if you're listening. Getting into our preseason prediction records, Shaq and I predicted every game of the NFL season before the actual season started. I had an excellent week on the preseason picks. I improved to 116 and 76. Shaq improved to 108 and 84. I think the only two games I called wrong last week were Philly and New York. I got that one backwards. And then ironically, my own team, I got that one backwards in the preseason. A long story on that one. But anyway, I did think that Detroit was going to beat Minnesota for whatever reason.
Happened to be the first one of the season, too.
Right. I didn't think it was going to be their first, but for whatever reason, I thought that would happen. And Shaq, for some reason, had Houston beating the Colts.
In my defense, I didn't think that neither one of them. Like.
Well, I mean, that's because he thought that the Colts. Wait, no, that was the Panthers. He thought it was only have 3 wins. But I mean,
right.
Did you think that Watson was going to be playing this year, Shaq?
No, I don't know what was going on.
think we're all well aware that that was not happening.
I just assumed they're gonna for some reason be different this year.
I think most people forget the fact that Watson's even still in the league at this point.
Yep, I sure did. Getting up to speed, though, we are going to break down the happenings of the NFL just last week. And the fact that we're going to start this off with, of course, Shaq's team. They managed to hold off their divisional rivals and the Ravens at home. They won 20-19. Shaq, I'm going right to you on this one. First of all, just what did you think about the game?
It was very entertaining to watch. I am very surprised we pulled off this win. To be honest with you, this was not one of the games I predicted us to win in the next couple weeks. So it's interesting. It definitely changes the picture how things could possibly run for a team coming later in the season. You can find a little facial expression, Jill, try not to laugh at the comment. But
I was thinking of the question I was about to ask you. What did you think about your quarterback's performance in this game? What are we getting from Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde?
Still not impressed with our quarterback. I think he's still the crippling factor of our team.
Okay,
unfortunately, the options that we have behind him are not any better, if not worse. So
we're getting Dr. Jekyll today, I see.
Yes. So unfortunately, we got to take the bitter of the evils coming up. And I just hope my prediction for this team coming up in the later picture, I just want to say, I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm gonna say we do find a way to capture some sort of wild card spot going into this postseason. You find a way. What we do after that, I don't know, but we will find a way to make some sort of wild card spot.
So you're not saying you guys win the division?
No, God no. But I say we win this wild card spot. Yeah.
Malin.
Well, a couple things. One, that was a crazy game at the end. Terrible 2-point conversion play that the Ravens try to run. I mean, you got Lamar Jackson. He can go up the middle for 2 yards on any play that he wants. Like he hardly ever gets stuffed outside of 2 yards when he runs up the middle. But then you also have, like Watt, another 3.5 sack performance. I feel like every week that man has a 3.5 sack performance. He has 16 sacks with 5 games to go. I think he has a really good shot at breaking the all-time sack record. And if he does, I think the man deserves some MVP votes. Not to saying that he would win, but I think he at least deserves like the recognition if he breaks that record. Because I think if he does it, it wouldn't be the way that Strahan did, where Brett Favre just kind of fell down and gave him the record. I think Watt would actually earn it. But looking at the AFC North, I looked at all the rest of the games that everybody had, and the way I kind of have it coming out here is Baltimore finishing at 11-6. They're going to get 3 W's. The rest of the way, I think that Cincinnati's going to finish off at 9-8. I think they're going to hit a couple game stretch against Baltimore and KC. They're going to get a couple losses, but I think they'll pick up a W at the last game of the year to finish 9-8. I got Pittsburgh going 9-8-1, or 9-7-1. Sorry. And I don't know. I think with them going up against Tennessee, KC, in Baltimore, like they got such a tough schedule the rest of the way. It's hard for me to think that they're going to pick up more than 2 wins, possibly. But I do think that they have a good chance. They're going to need some help to get into playoffs, but I think they can definitely do it. And then I got Cleveland going 7-10 because Cleveland is Cleveland at this point. And Happy Feet Mayfield is he's just not. He's not very good when he's healthy, and right now he's not healthy. And so I think they're going to run Chubb into the ground, and he's going to get hurt at some point, and their wheels are just going to fall off the wagon.
It's ironic because we have the same exact layout for how the AFC North will finish. Like literally down to a T on everybody's record.
Because we're smart.
something like that. Yeah, I think the Ravens in the end they'll run away with this thing. But funny thing is with the Steelers and the Bengals, the Bengals, would they have the upper hand because
Yeah, they
don't
have the
have a tie?
tiebreaker because they swept them.
So even with a
Yeah, so
tie
even,
instead of a loss, it would still, because of the tiebreaker, the Bengals. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a 9-win, and they beat sorry Shaq, but they beat you guys twice. So the
got you. It outweighs the tie. Yeah, that would be very unfortunate for the Steelers. I think that tie game in is going to haunt them come later in the season.
Because of Detroit.
Wait.
Well,
are you asking if one is 9-8 and one is 9-7 and one who wins? Off of that, is that what you were asking?
Right.
Oh, I think that would actually go to Pittsburgh because of the winning percentage. I think it would just be a tick higher because of a tie doesn't count as much as a loss.
Gotcha.
So maybe that sweep wouldn't come into play there, Shaq.
Here's what I'm saying. We'll get into that in the next game. But yeah, Pittsburgh, I think they'll be 2 or 3 in the division, literally within like just that a tie of the Bengals. But yeah, for the game itself, great game. I give Big Ben a lot of props, that especially the second half. They came out and finally got their act together. I'm really not mad at all about the 2-point conversion play because, I mean, they had it right there. Like, if it took TJ Watt making the play of the game to blow that thing up and make Lamar have to step up and miss throw. But, I mean, if he doesn't do that, Baltimore wins that game without a doubt.
Honestly, in my opinion, even if Baltimore just kicks the field goal and pushes it into overtime, it hurts me to say this, but I still put Baltimore to win that game if that game gets pushed in overtime.
Yeah.
Okay, Shaq, can you just one time take a W without complaining?
I'm taking a W, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if this game gets pushed into overtime, did y'all not see that last drive that Baltimore went down the field?
I did.
Exactly, and you don't think they're capable of doing that again in overtime if they had to?
This is Shaq talking about his Steelers. He's like, you know what? Today I walked down the sidewalk and I was totally fine. But hypothetically, if there was a hole in the middle of the sidewalk, I would have fell in it. Like, that's what. You made it. You won.
Look, we're just talking about hypothetical situations. I'm just saying. We just happen to be lucky that everything played in our favor this game. Like I said, I did not expect us to win this game.
Moving right on to the next game here. Stan, we're going over to my team. On Monday night's game, we were able to hold off the Bills in Orchard Park 14-10 in the freezing cold conditions that they were windy. This was a strange game. This was the epitome of a Bill Belichick dub. Only having 3 pass attempts on the night for the Patriots and being able to win this game against that team was unbelievable. I'm extremely glad we were able to get this win, especially in Buffalo. I really don't have too much to say as the Homer fan on this one. Sorry, Buffalo. Maybe you should have figured out the old run the ball trick. I know it came straight out of the 1950s playbook that Bill Belichick dug up.
Probably didn't do much digging. Probably sitting there next to his birth certificate.
But yeah, better luck next time, Bills. We'll see you in, I think, like 2 weeks. So yeah. On that same note, though, before I do kick it over to Shaq here, I do think that I predicted we would go 13-4 in the offseason. I'm sticking with that. I think we still will not lose a single game for the rest of the year. I think Buffalo will finish under us at 10-7. I think they'll lose to Tampa this Sunday, and then I think we'll beat them again in New England the following week. But I'm thinking that they grab the second wild card spot behind the Chargers and take that wild card spot from the Steelers, unfortunately. Only because of that tie. Because if the Steelers had not tied to the Lions and they did finish 10-7, they would have been tied with the Bills, and then they would have won that tiebreaker because you guys beat them in week 1. But because that tie is there, I think it's really going to bite you guys in the ass one way or another.
Leave it to Steelers, so let Detroit be the decision for us.
But that's just my take on that one. Shaq, what'd you think about this?
It was a very interesting game to watch. Is the fact that you can sit there and predict the whole entire thing, what play, and the only decision that was left of a question whether it was left or right for the most part.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they could not catch a hold of stopping this run game and just let it. Not the most highly scoring game, but still the most interesting to be like, yo, they literally just run it down their throat the whole entire game. My question is it just purely because of the fact that they think their quarterback, because of the cold, that they just didn't trust the whole receiving and their quarterback games, so they just decided, you know what, we're going to keep on the game 99% of the thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think it was a bit of both, not being like, listen, it's pretty windy. We don't trust you to do much of anything on a good day.
Yeah.
Let's not throw this ball. And this is working. Yeah, you don't have to do this.
Okay, let's give Jones a little bit more credit. The man did throw for over 300 yards and a couple touchdowns the week before. I think that they got up to Buffalo. Bill Belichick went out there and he saw the conditions during pregame, right? Like, because it was worse before the game. You're like having the snow flurries and everything. And I think he went back in there and he looked at Josh McDaniels and was like, we're going to have to run the ball the whole day. And Josh McDaniels was probably like, yeah, we're going to have to make an emphasis on running the ball. And he was like, no, we're just going to run the ball. And Josh McDaniels was like, yes, we're definitely going to have to be very run heavy and the emphasis on the run. He's like, no, you're not hearing me. We're only going to run the ball. Like, that's just what we're going to do. 32 consecutive run plays at one point. And the crazy thing about it is that Buffalo wouldn't even have gotten a touchdown if it wasn't for the football grazing Sony Michel's head on that punt return, because they could not move the ball, because even though like New England wasn't running or throwing the ball, but Buffalo was, Allen was 15 of 30. Like, he had his worst statistical day of his career in that weather. So if you have somebody with an arm like Allen that's making the money he is, that's, you know, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and he is having the worst day of his career, like, why would Bill Belichick put Jones in a position to be throwing the ball a lot? And, like, this is the reason why Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. Like, he knew that he needed to have the wind at his back going into the fourth quarter. And the moment that Buffalo deferred, he chose the side of the field that he did, not because he knew he wanted the wind at his back in the fourth quarter, and he knew what the conditions were going to be like. And so to see him, he's just the most adaptable coach ever. He doesn't just come up with a game plan in how you play football like someone like Pete Carroll in Seattle does, to where, like, this is just what we play and we're always going to play it. He's like, okay, so who are we playing? What are their strengths? What are the conditions like? Let's tailor something to that. And he is the absolute best at it. But when you said that you see your guys going, you said 13 and 4?
Right.
All right. I see you guys going 12 and 5. I do have you losing to Miami only because some things might be locked up by then, and weird things always go on in Miami when it comes to Miami and New England. So I did go ahead and pick them to lose that one, but I also have Buffalo going 10 and 7. Do you have them lose? You have them losing to Tampa Bay and New England, don't you?
Right.
Yeah, we're so smart. Shaq, get on our level. I didn't even do Miami and the Jets because no one gives a damn about them right now. But yeah, and I do think that, and this could be the only saving grace for Shaq Steelers making the playoffs, is that there is a 7th seed this time.
Mm-hmm.
So if Pittsburgh doesn't get the 6th, maybe they're lucky enough to get the 7th. I don't know.
Lucky number 7, baby.
Listen, okay, first of all, that's the most flattering Big Ben reference that you've ever said on the show.
Yeah, we're gonna move right into Mainland Seahawks. They turned that thing around. Finally, got rid of the bad juju that was clouding up their locker room or whatever it was.
We still got a bad juju clouding up our locker room.
The Seahawks beat the Niners 30-23. Mainland, what do you think about this one?
Outside of Gerald Everett losing the ball on the 1-yard line twice, I don't know how he dropped the pass that he did and then kicked it into a defender's hands at one point to cause an interception. The fact that comes up as an interception on Russell Wilson is just beyond me. And then at the end of the game, they do the little shovel pass. He runs into 18 people. And he fumbles the ball there at the 1-yard line. Like, it shouldn't have even been a ball game. But on that last drive, like, Seattle's defense had been playing great the whole game, and then they let them go 98 yards without even reaching a 3rd down until they were inside the 5 with like less than 20 seconds to go. Like, that's how quickly the 49ers drove down there. So my butt cheeks were clenched. I wasn't really too thrilled about it. I'm glad that we got the win. We did play a lot better in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th quarter as an offense. I went into that game thinking that, we all watched the Washington-Seattle game together. I went in there thinking Seattle's offense can't look worse than what it does, right? And then the first quarter, yeah, they looked worse. They looked terrible. They were at a 2nd and 43 at one point towards the end of the first quarter. I was on the phone with G Money, and I was like, this is just the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. So, but, listen, for the rest of the year, we don't have Jamal Adams, which is actually probably going to be a good thing because he's the 89th rated safety in the NFL off of PFF. And there's only 32 teams, so there's only 64 starting safeties, and he's ranked 89. So that's not good. And we're paying $17 million a year. Fuck the salary cap. So that's probably a plus for us. But the way I got the NFC West going out here is I got Arizona going 14-3. Okay. I only have them losing one game the rest of the way because I think that they'll probably have the number 1 seed locked up and rest people against Seattle at Week 18, which is pivotal for my Seahawks. I have the Rams going 9-8. I have them only getting one more win the rest of the way. That defense is not playing well. They're going up against Arizona, San Francisco that always beats them. They always get beat by San Francisco. And I think they'll get a win against Minnesota. But I mean, in the last 4 games, the only game that they've won was against the Jaguars, for God's sakes. So Matt Stafford finally didn't throw a pick 6. And then I have San Francisco going 9-8 as well. I have them losing to Cincy. Everybody beats the Falcons right now. Losing to Tennessee. I think Tennessee will get them because I think Tennessee is going to surprise them a little bit. And then I think they're going to close out against Houston and LA. And then you can call me a homer all you want, but I do have Seattle going 9-8. And the reason why I say that, listen to me. The reason why I say it, we have Houston, Chicago, and Detroit is 3 of our next 5.
Okay.
We might as well just go down to college and be in the SEC if we lose to those teams. The only reason why I say that we beat Arizona is because I really do think Arizona is going to be resting a lot of people because they're already unhealthy. And even though Murray and Hopkins are back, they're still going to be battling those injuries for the rest of the year. And the longer the season goes, the colder it gets. Like, I'm counting on Arizona resting people. So what really comes down to that LA game. And LA has not been playing good football. And we damn near beat them with Geno Smith playing pretty much the whole second half the first time. And so that LA game is very pivotal. Now, I'm not saying that 9-8 all of a sudden is going to get Seattle into the playoffs. I don't think it will. We've already screwed up the tiebreaker against Minnesota, New Orleans, Washington. Washington's won 4 straight games. I don't think that New Orleans is going to be in it. Minnesota, I mean, they just lost to Detroit, but they're still ahead of us in the wild card right now. But if we end up with the same record, we would own the tiebreaker with San Francisco. So I think that even at 9-8, it would be really hard to get into playoffs. So you could go 8-8, 9-8. The Rams is the only one that I'm really like, maybe they will or maybe they won't, because we got a top 10 defense right now. We've had it for most of the year. So the stats are showing, even with the people we're playing, that our defense is playing well. It's just a matter of whether or not the offense can continue some of that success they found and stop doing goddamn screen passes to the line of scrimmage out to the outside with these wide receivers. They get tackled for a loss at the line of scrimmage every goddamn time. It's the worst fucking play that they have in the playbook. They should burn that damn thing.
G Money is asking, shout out to G Money in the chat here, if the Rams for some reason don't make the playoffs, will there be a coaching change for them?
I don't think there'll be a head coaching change. I think your defensive coordinator will be gone.
Yeah.
Because you still have Ramsey. You just added Von Miller. You still have Aaron Donald. You have a ton of talent on that defense, but that defense is not playing up to that talent. And Odell Beckham does not fit the role that Robert Woods was playing in that offense. He's a completely different receiver on the outside. They were playing Woods on the inside. And at the end of the day, Akers was still going to be their starting running back. He got hurt in the preseason. They haven't had a running game. McVay's offense is based upon the run game, just like Seattle's offense is. They've had a bunch of injuries at running back. And so, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they end up getting a win against the Jaguars with, Michelle finally popping off for 121 yards. So I think that you could have some coordinators gone, but I don't think McVay would be gone yet, because I think everything they have tied into that offense, it's tailored around McVay being the head coach right now.
Yeah, I also, if for some reason that were to happen, I don't see McVay being fired this year. I think next year he'd be on an extremely hot seat. But I think that 3 teams out of this division end up making the playoffs. With Arizona winning the division with flying colors, I also think they only drop one more game for the rest of the year. And then I think the Rams end up going 3-2 for the rest of the year, which would make them 11-6, and then I think San Francisco will clinch that last wild card spot at 9-8.
So who do you have the Rams beating that I don't, besides my Seahawks?
Yeah, I have them beating, like you said, the Seahawks. Hold on, I think they'll beat Minnesota, and then the last game of the year, San Francisco.
So then how does San Francisco get the 9-8 if they don't beat LA? Who do they have to beat? You think they're going to beat the Titans?
My bad. I thought you were saying I thought you were asking about the Rams. You're saying,
I was, but then like at the end of the year, the Rams play San Francisco. You're saying they get that win. That was one of the wins that I had the Niners getting to get 9-8. So do you have the Niners beating Tennessee?
Yeah. I have them upsetting Tennessee.
Okay. All right, so you have them losing to Cincy, beating Atlanta, beating Tennessee, beating Houston, losing to the Rams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, San Francisco always seems to beat them. And, like G Money mentioned, is there going to be a coaching change in LA if they don't make the playoffs? I think the bigger question is there a coaching change in San Francisco if they don't make the playoffs?
That seems more likely.
Shanahan only has one winning season under his belt. And he's got an under 500 record, even with that Super Bowl run. They are vastly underperforming, injuries notwithstanding, but just not playing up to what you would think. I mean, the man blew the Super Bowl against the Patriots. You thought they would have known what they were getting themselves into.
Jack, how do you think this one will play out?
Short and sweet, basically, because I have a question for Malin. But my thing is, I'm happy for them to see them win, play remotely as old Seattle to a degree. So good for them. And my random question to Malin is, I know we talked about this hypothetically, Jalen, the other day. Because does Russ become free agency after this season, Malin?
Well, free agency, no, because we got him for another 2 years. So we would have to trade him. Yeah,
Okay.
so we would have to trade him, and he would still have to waive his no-trade clause. And Seattle already came out. And this isn't just Pete Carroll. This is like the front office came out and said they are not interested in trading Russell Wilson. The Seahawks also, they did a lot of what Russell Wilson wanted them to do. They may not have got another superstar wide receiver, but you still had DK Metcalf and Lockett. They added Eskridge. They ended up getting that concussion the first game of the year, so he was out over half the year. They brought back Chris Carson that got hurt. That was someone that he wanted. He wanted a good tight end. Gerald Everett's been good, except for those 2 goddamn miscues at the 1-yard line last week. They got him more up-tempo offense that hasn't produced, but it's what Russell Wilson wanted. Seattle's done the things that Wilson has wanted them to do for the most part. And so I don't know if he'll want to leave. If he wants to leave and he tries to do a holdout and tries to force their hand, then maybe that could happen. But Seattle's saying right now that they're not interested in trading him.
It's just a random question because I thought for some reason I had in my head of him being free agency, of him traveling to a certain team that may have options for him offensively.
He's not going to Pittsburgh. That's not even a team on his radar.
We have a great offense besides our QB position. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
Yes.
You got good wide receivers, huh?
Yeah. Yes, you do. Thank you.
You have better receivers than Metcalf and Lockett.
You're gonna move on because I'm making people upset.
I'm just
very competitive.
Just saying.
You have a run game. You have a decent receiving core. Great defense.
Like how Shaq turned talking about the Seahawks into his Steelers again.
Yeah,
he's fantasizing.
Yeah,
he only does that when they get a W. He brings up the Steelers 15 times on the show when they get the W. When it's an L, he doesn't even talk about them.
I ain't trying to relive nightmares.
Speaking of L's, that's a nice transition onto our next topic here, and that is, of course, our L's of the week.
Straight trash.
I want to just throw one in here off the top of the dome. This is not on our rundown, but I am really upset that I forgot to put this in here. But how could we just skim over the fact that the day after we recorded our last episode, last Thursday, the Thunder the Thunder lost to the Grizzlies by 73 points.
Listen, it's like Christmas coming early to me as a Sonics fan, all right? Because I just want to ask anyone out in Oklahoma right now that, hey, if you listen, you ever watch the show, just how's your life going? How's that small market NBA team working out for you, you bastards? You stole a team from Seattle that had Westbrook and Durant. Of course you were going to be good for the first decade that you were a team, but y'all kiss my ass. I hope they lose every game they ever play by 70 points. They deserve all the smoke and all the hate they get with them ugly ass uniforms.
The pettiness is on the show is also real.
Still my damn team.
Things happen on the show.
Oh, okay. I don't think it was anything important. All right, whatever.
As the whole studio shuts down.
Yeah, I had to throw that one in there just because. I mean, first of all, you lose by 70 points, but the fact that it was the Thunder and Malin's on this show, I mean, that's the greatest thing ever.
Those are the type of records I want them to set.
Now, getting back into the scheduled programming here, the Jags got destroyed 37-7 by the Rams. This was not a good look for anybody in the Jags, least of all Urban Meyer, though. I did not really watch much of this game, but I don't know if you guys caught this riveting game of the Jags getting beat up.
It's the Jags. I know what y'all expect. For some reason, Jags fans were on cloud 9 after the draft, thinking they could be good for the whole entire season.
I know.
And
Back
then
to reality.
Exactly. For a brief moment, soon after preseason, we're like, well, still Jags. Invested all $55 they had to season passes to watch the games.
I'm just waiting for some sort of video to come out about Urban Meyer back in Ohio, grinding up on some 20-year-old that's not his wife. He's about to quit. I really think he is. I mean, but how bad is Buffalo that they lost to the Jaguars 9-6, and then the Rams just turn around and just thump them 37-7. I mean, Stafford didn't throw a pick six, so that's not the 7 points the Jaguars got. They actually earned that touchdown. But I mean, Stafford was 295 for 3 touchdowns. Sony Michel, like I said earlier, 121 with 1 touchdown. Cooper Kupp, my fantasy stud in just about every league that I'm in. I love that guy, even though he's on the Rams. 8 receptions, 129 yards, and a touchdown. The fact that he even comes from my home state just warms my heart a little bit about how good he is. But, I mean, it was the ultimate get-right game. I don't think you can necessarily read into it that that the Rams are back. I mean, it's just like a few weeks ago, before Seattle went on that 3-game losing streak, they beat the Jaguars 31-7. And then they turned around and lost 3 in a row. I mean, it's the Jaguars. Like, you can't – that's not like a statement game. Like, hey, everybody, we're here. It's just the Jaguars.
Next one, the Chargers went to Cincinnati and blew out the Bengals 41-22.
You need more of that.
This seemed like it was going to be a riveting game between the two sophomores here, but second half came around and the Chargers just turned on the Jets and just completely blew out the Bengals on this one. Any thoughts on the Bengals getting their shit kicked in?
I just hope this continues. I need the Bengals to start losing. I need
your personal feelings.
Yeah, look.
Back to analytical radio, and we'll try to get past the pettiness a little bit.
You were just cussing out.
I did. I was so petty.
The entire state.
Yeah, the entire state. Like if anyone wants to drop a nuke, do it on Oklahoma. This one surprised me because I thought that Cincinnati was actually going to win this game because the Chargers had been struggling right up until like the week before. Like they weren't playing good ball.
Yeah.
And I really thought that Cincinnati was going to win this game. And I mean, damn, the Chargers jumped up to 24-0 with like just a few minutes into the second quarter. I was like, how bad of a quarter of football do you have to play, as talented as the Bengals are, to be losing 24-0 with like 10:50 left in the second quarter? It really came down to the fact that because both quarterbacks had over 300 yards, Herbert did have 3 touchdowns. Burr only had 1, and he had 2 interceptions. But holding Mixon who I think is the third best running back in the league. I said that a couple weeks ago. To only 54 yards. Like, they got Cincinnati so far out of their offense based on that first quarter that they couldn't run their offense. They couldn't run their game plan, and they were trying to play catch up the rest of the way, and they were putting themselves into dangerous situations. And they just couldn't catch up from that. I mean, good Lord, 24-0. That's unreal.
Yeah, both of those teams are so weird right now. Like, the epitome of inconsistent at this point in the year, which is strange, but there's a few teams that are really inconsistent. They're just some of the more prominent ones. Next one, the Texans could not squeak out a single point against the Colts. They got shut out 31-0. I most definitely did not waste any of my time watching this game. Any thoughts on this one?
Well, when you're two quarterbacks for Houston, and I say two quarterbacks, as it looks like Tyrod Taylor's out for the year with an elbow injury. So, Godspeed to you, sir. Get well. You've just had some bad luck, whether it's the Chargers stabbing you with a needle and then Herbert takes over, or you getting hurt and Baker Mayfield taking over for you. Like, it just hasn't been good for him in his career. But he was 5 of 13 for 45 yards with 1 interception. And then Mills was 6 of 14 for 49 yards. So between the two quarterbacks, you couldn't even muster 100 yards passing. And we're not talking the running game of the Patriots. You can't not have 100 yards passing,
right,
and not have a great running game. And, the combined QBR of both of those quarterbacks was only 8.9. Mills had a 6.2 and Taylor had a 2.7. So if anyone out there that didn't watch the game is wondering, how did the Texans not even sniff the end zone or a field goal? That's how. They just nothing.
You can't let that happen. You just can't.
Oh, the Texans being the Texans this season. This does not surprise me at all, regardless of my picks in preseason. But, it's more entertaining than anything else.
Listen, if you put the Texans into Big 12 right now, I still think Baylor probably wins the Big 12. That's just how bad they've been.
Probably. Last but not least, folks, the Detroit Lions. Hold on a second. They are not on the losing side for the first time.
It's not the first time because they tied once to somebody's team.
All right.
That's a good
I don't
point.
need all that.
Thank you for correcting me.
Do not need none of it.
Technically, this is not the first time. They did actually beat the Minnesota Vikings 29-27. Let's give a quick clap to the Detroit Lions, mainly to the city of Detroit.
The $6 in Detroit put in good work.
I like how my Seahawks got a golf clap and this team gets an actual clap. The Lions on this podcast, you guys some assholes.
I just want to say, leave it up to Detroit Lions to hurt themselves. Why can't y'all just lose all the rest of the season for a draft pick? That's all I'm saying. Y'all gonna find a way to win out the rest of the season and hurt yourselves one way or another. Look, just what do you got to prove? You know you're bad. Just go ahead and lose out the rest of the season.
Jared Goff and Dan Campbell over there hugging it out and sobbing on each other.
Yeah,
is the greatest thing
popping
ever.
champagne like y'all won the NBA championships. If y'all don't sit down and lose all the rest of the season like Detroit is.
No, man, they pop in champagne because they acting like they might be able to keep their jobs. Like, that's why they don't want to go winless.
Oh, trust
They
me, if I own this team, y'all winning this one game is not maintaining y'all jobs.
Jared Goff is probably in therapy right now for this never won without McVay crap, and he can finally get that off of his shoulders. And Dan Campbell can start talking about something other than kneecaps at one point. But, I mean, listen, the Vikings, to me, they're just like the Bengals and the Chargers, right? Like, they're so inconsistent. Yeah. Like, how does a team that convincingly beats Green Bay just 2 weeks ago lose to the Lions? like Cousins still had a great game. He was 30 of 40, 346, and 2 touchdowns. Like he still had a great game. That defense for Minnesota is just fucking terrible, though. I mean, who lets Goff without Sean McVay's offense go for 296 and 3 touchdowns? That's just ridiculous.
Right.
And the crazy thing is that it almost looked like it was going to be a normal Campbell Lions lose where you lose it in the last 2 minutes because they let that 3-yard touchdown pass to Jefferson with like a minute 50 left in the game, and they're like, oh shit, here we go with the Lions again. And I mean, those Lions fans, there was probably people making babies in the bathrooms after that game. They were so damn excited in the stands. It was a crazy thing. You had a bunch of fat Santas hugging themselves. It was crazy. Like you mark it right now. 9 months from now, there's going to be a lot of babies named Campbell or Goff because of that game.
Ironically enough, for a team whose name is Detroit Lions, ain't nobody that's seen it, probably never seen a lion before in their life. Just want to put that out, random fact out there.
I like how Shaq just starts talking about mascots all of a sudden.
I'm just saying, you would think they'd find a more relatable mascot title for this team.
Your name is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and hasn't the steel industry in Pittsburgh been shut down for a long time? Talk about relevance.
I'm sure there's still somewhere in the pads and helmets that they're trying to put together.
I mean, maybe in the cars that everyone's driving to work, is that most of that's plastic too. All right.
It's still in the old support beams of that stadium. There it is. It's holding up the roof.
Oh.
There's no roof at Heinz Field, Jalen.
If so, Big Ben already deflected an interception off of it already, but
I mean, there's probably a lot of steel in Big Ben's elbow.
We are going to kick it to a break before we go down the Big Ben wormhole that we'll never get out of.
I just want to say I didn't start that. Malin did.
Yeah, folks, we're going to go to halftime. We'll be back in about 7.5 minutes. So
Enjoy.
We will see you in a bit.
Last man standing wins. Team Sonor is the 12th pick. Just that fast. Going back in. Who's going next? Pick 11. Oh, Team Nestor goes. Let's get these out of the way. It's a methodical process. Oh, Team Johnson goes next. Pick number 10. Didn't even care to eat it. Who's next? Oh, Washington football team, DC. Oh, hold on, technicality. The checks is still on the table. Going back in. Oh, Sloth goes. Sorry, Uncle Shaq. Gonna take the paper too. Fair enough. Okay, and then, oh man, Team Meyer. Is he gonna take it? Yeah, he's gonna take it. There it goes. Alright, who's going next? Oh, D+5 off the board. Alright, who's going next? Yeah, the paper does not count. Dowdy goes first, and then Team Lambert. It's going back in. Last 4. Who's pick number 4? Team Warren goes at 4. Who's going at 3? Oh, Talking Demon goes at 3. Number 2. Oh, leave your own dad. You put him at number 2. What a shame. Congrats to Morgan, Washington football team, DC, number 1 pick.
I will how about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair.
Fair
On
enough.
the whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Mccollum, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Sweet. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. Down to 3 and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah, pretty freaking plain.
I'm chucking this shit into Del Mabry. By the way,
How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock? This is emotional. Boy, you better spike the shit out of this, Gino. Oh, what do you mean, wide left? There was. No, he thought we were friends. Man, you better fold that shit up. We ain't done yet. Come on. Get off the bar.
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Yeah. My English teacher is the reason I put pressure on your neck. Black intelligence is just as dangerous as a tech. Bet. Don't let me get the buck and have the whole crowd ducking. I ain't even done yet. I just started, I ain't even having fun yet. Still learning, I ain't started going dumb yet. Bum as I succumb to the drum set. Hold your applause, y'all, I wasn't done yet. As I... Oh, y'all think it's a game? That's just feeding the flame that took a seat in my brain. It isn't keeping me sane. Cause don't nobody wanna dance slow in the rain. But we can take it to the dance floor to ease the pain. We can pop, lock, and drop it cause we tired of the topic. Take a trip to the tropics on the beach getting sloppy. Whoa, Kimosabe, big ballin' is my hobby. But ain't nothing gon' stop it till we see the rain. Seize it, man. Put it in a headlock, squeeze it, man. Carpe diem, my heart stay beating. It's what y'all needed, believe it, man. I had to seize it, man. Put it in a headlock, squeeze it, man. Carpe diem, my heart stay beating. It's what y'all needed, believe it, man. I just had a breakthrough. There ain't nothing y'all can do with me. I just...
Where's the phone? Where's the phone? Sergeant Strong, get the fuck out of here!
Tell them to fall back. Tell them to fall back.
You're cut off! Do something!
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, players.
Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my
He didn't
God.
even know.
Currently.
He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
Just
drink.
Which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No, it's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it!
Really?
Yes.
Drink! You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL.
NFL, my guy. NFL.
Oh. Oakland Raiders.
That's a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears, okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds.
What was your answer?
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about it.
What they got to do with me?
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does, because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback at Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team.
Why are you asking me this? Oh my God. Jason Campbell.
No,
hell no. I was the first black
Get
quarterback.
out of here.
Nigga, he's black and he not.
He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Or
Doug
Redskins.
Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of the show, give him a yellow water for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so he's playing with his that.
And not just still playing, but had no.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's at AFR Sports. Now back to the show featuring your hosts Jalen and Shaquille.
Welcome back. Hope you guys had a good break. We're coming right back at you live. Episode 62 is going to continue on. Gentlemen, we have another shot on deck.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we do.
Jump on our diggers out.
Cheers to you all.
Still also smooth for the process.
Yeah. All right. We're going to just keep this train moving right on. Malin, something that we never ask. You always have a cigar on the show. What cigar are you smoking tonight?
This one is actually a Cohiba Red Label.
Nice.
I go to shout out to Cigar International. In Wesley Chapel, there's a cigar bar there. That's where I was actually watching the Monday night game at, and they got a ton of deals going on right now, to where you could end up getting like 25 cigars for like $80. And they're really good. They're like all the brands you want, bunch of deals going on. Go down there. They're great.
Just use the code Malin at checkout and
they'll laugh at you. That's what they'll do.
And that is M.
Now, we're going to move right into the news for the week. And we have a bunch of news to get into. But we're going to start off with some unfortunate news. So Glenn Foster Jr. used to play for the Saints. At the age of only 31, somehow he passed away after being taken into police custody yesterday or like 2 days ago. Yeah, weird ways. As far as I know, when I was reading about this earlier, they still have not said what his cause of death was or what the issue was. But it's just unfortunate to see somebody at 31 in or formerly in his position. Sad to see that. I don't know if you guys have any input on this one.
I mean, yeah, it's always sad to see anybody pass away, especially at an age like that. So, condolences to his family and stuff.
I need a lot more information to come out. Mainly, what happened to him after leaving the courtroom and him ending up in the hospital and then being pronounced dead. Because like you said, like Glenn Foster he did play in the NFL back in 2013, 2014. He played for 2 years, 17 games. I read that at the age of 20, he was diagnosed with bipolar. But the only facts that I have so far that I've been able to uncover is that, they had attempted to pull him over for doing 94 miles an hour in a small rural town or community. He led them on a high-speed chase where he ended up crashing his car into a building. And even then, he was resisting arrest. But from what all the records show, there wasn't anything like major in the resisting. Like there wasn't any injuries to him or anything like that. But when he first went before the judge, and I don't have the judge's name, the judge, for whatever reason, deemed him, I want to say, not mentally fit is what he said, and he wanted him to be under mental observation. Now, that might have come under the fact that he's bipolar. I know that he was traveling from Louisiana to Atlanta for business with his dad. But there's a lot of information that needs to come out, and there needs to be a lot of transparency because you're talking about someone dying under custody, and we've made progress. We haven't made enough progress. And I want to reserve the right to have like a full opinion until like the facts come out. But at the end of the day, when someone's under custody and you're in handcuffs, somebody has the upper hand, and so like something happened, and I'm not saying that whatever happened was justified. Nobody doing 94 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone deserves to end up dying less than 24 hours later. And I know that he was combative with law enforcement, but even being combative, that doesn't equal a death sentence. Right. So there's just a lot of information that needs to still come out about that. And I really hope that they have full transparency. And if there was wrongdoing, unjustified force, something of that nature, then I hope those people are brought to justice. Now, the mom has already come out and said that, and I believe that this is speculation, but she speculated that she felt that maybe that they waited purposely to give him medical attention that he may have needed. The mom came out and said that, and said that, that she wants whoever did this, to be, she wants her son to be brought to justice. Now, that might have been emotion. Of course, that's speculation because we don't have the facts. But at the end of the day, it's incredibly sad because mental health is a very real thing in this country. And I think there needs to be a lot more education, a lot more empathy, and a lot more just understanding of what it looks like and what you're dealing with when you're dealing with someone that's maybe dealing with a mental health crisis. And it's what it kind of sounds like to me, that's what was going on, and something led to something else that unfortunately ended up with him passing away.
I agree. Unfortunately, like even working my job where we see a lot of mental health people who is combative, you still find a way to restrain and calm the situation down that doesn't involve the situation, their outcome. So there is a way to do it without, unfortunately, killing people. But like Malin says, we don't know the whole situation. So until we do, it's just figuring out what happened.
The only information we have that came out from the moment he left from being before the judge to being in the hospital is that either the police officer or the corrections officer had like a broken nose and an injury to a hand. So some sort of altercation happened, but you still got to wonder, like, there's so many regulations and so many things that people have to follow for something to even happen like that. And for that to be the only information we know is the injuries that happened to the other people and not the cause of death or what led to it or anything like that. Like, it's making me a little bit squeamish because I want full transparency in the whole situation, and it just makes me a little bit nervous that we might not get that because that's the only info we have right now, and it seems like we should have been able to get more info by now than what we've gotten.
Yeah, it is one of those things that does make you, like you said, squeamish because they know what it is. It's just they're picking and choosing how they want to go about presenting this to the public, which is alarming that they're like, what should we say? So clearly it's nothing, can't be anything good. It was like if it was a heart attack or a stroke or something like that, we would already know by now.
Well,
but
and there's nothing that was put in the arrest or anything else that indicated that he was under a substance. There's nothing. Nothing in the arrest docket, nothing before the judge. No blood was asked to be taken from what I was able to read about, like, to try to get a blood toxicology. So there, to me, going into it, the police didn't have any reason to believe that there was some sort of substance abuse. So, so I don't know. Something happened, and I think that at the end of the day, there needs to just be a lot more awareness and education about mental health. It is way more important than people think it is, especially what we've dealt with for almost the last 2 years with COVID-19 has brought even a lot more mental health kind of to the forefront. But we need a lot more education. We need a lot more awareness. We need a lot more people talking about it. We need more people being vulnerable with what they're dealing with. But at the end of the day, we need to figure out the facts of what happened. And if there was wrongdoing, I don't want to say there was because I don't have the facts. I don't know. I haven't been. It just came out today. But if there was wrongdoing, then someone needs to be held accountable.
Yeah. Moving on to a much lighter note here. The Heisman finalists were announced a couple days ago. The winners picked this Saturday, but the finalists are Bryce Young of Alabama, Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan, Kenny Pickett of Pitt, and then C.J. Shroud of Ohio State. So I figured we'd go through, predict who we think will win the award this weekend, and we will see what actually ends up happening. Malin, who do you think wins the Heisman?
Well, it's an interesting group of people. Now, Bryce Young has been the favorite even before the year started. Okay. And he kind of validated the fact that he was the favorite with throwing for over 4,300 yards and 43 touchdowns. I know they lost to Texas A&M, but it's not like Alabama goes perfect every single year, and they just thumped the shit out of Georgia. Right. And even with his name and likeness contracts almost going over $1 million before he even played a snap for Alabama this year, it was just freaking nuts. But, you know, you got some people like Cody Pickett, right? He's really intriguing to me because up until this year, his high for passing touchdowns was only 13. And he threw for 42 touchdowns this year. And unfortunately, what's going on with Pickett right now is that he's embroiled in a little bit of a controversy because of that great touchdown run that he had where he faked the slide and kept running and got the touchdown, and that led to a bunch of people wondering, does that need to be a penalty? Does it not need to be a penalty? I hope to God it doesn't, because then you're just opening it up to interpretation, the referees on, well, did the quarterback look like he was about to slide? Did I think he was about to slide or not? Right. So it was pretty phenomenal to see that touchdown run, and I was like, oh shit, when he did it, he like faked the shit out of everybody. Like people went out of their cleats on that fake. But it could lead to quarterbacks just getting tagged in the future, and I hope that doesn't happen. And then you got C.J. Shroud. 3,800 yards, 38 touchdowns. He got 5 interceptions, but he lost to Michigan, so he's not winning the Heisman. It's cute that he's getting invited to New York, but that's not going to happen. Who I would really love to win the Heisman, okay, is Aiden Hutchinson. We have not had a defensive player win the Heisman since Charles Woodson beat out Peyton Manning, which I still don't think he should have beaten Peyton Manning for the Heisman. I think Manning should have gotten the Heisman that year. But listen, man, Hutchinson's got 13 and a half sacks. He came back for another year when he could have declared he wanted to beat Ohio State. He did that. Even in the Ohio State game alone, he had 10 and a half quarterback hurries, and I think he had 2 sacks in that game. Like, he was such a force to be reckoned with this year. And even out of the 13 and a half sacks, they can't even say like he beat up against a bunch of, you know, like FCS schools or anything. 8 of his sacks came against Big Ten opponents. So he came up big in big conference games. And so I know he's not going to win it. I know Young's going to win it because he was the favorite going in. He didn't do anything to prove that he shouldn't get it, especially the way that he won the Iron Bowl in the last couple of minutes and then thumped Georgia. But I hope Hutchinson gets maybe a runner-up. I don't know if that's really a thing on the Heisman, but I'm pretty sure Young's going to get it.
Yeah, Malin, you and I are most definitely on the same wavelength tonight because I think Young will get it and deservedly so, but it would be awesome to see the Wolverine take it home. Because, like you said, we haven't seen a defensive player win this award since Charles Woodson in the damn 90s. So it would be nice to see that finally change up. But and he's a monster. Like out of these four dudes, he's to me the guy that jumps off the screen the most. Like this year, he made such an impact for Michigan, and I don't think Michigan would be as successful as they were this year if he was not as dominant as he was. Yeah, he's gonna be a special player when he comes out of the draft.
And if you watch the post game interviews after they beat Ohio State, that just sells you on college athletics. Like just the emotion that he had and the love that he had for his brothers on the team and talking about his family. His dad went to Michigan. He knew how important it was to beat Ohio State. And, you know, like he would be the first. My memory, I have a lot of useless sports stats in my mind, but I don't have this one off the top of my head. Even Charles Woodson won the Heisman in part because of his special teams ability and kickoff and punt returns. Like Hutchinson would be the first like solely defensive Heisman winner for the first time in God knows how long. And I just, man, when I watched that post game interview that he had on the field when the fans were all around him and everything, I was like, this man is the epitome of college sports. And this is what it's all about. And so I'm glad he's being celebrated the way that he is, even if he doesn't win.
Yeah, and he's native to Michigan, right?
Yeah, and like I said, his dad played for Michigan. And so he's kind of a legacy there. And he's going to be a really good player in the NFL. Because if you can get 13 and a half sacks in the Big Ten, you playing that big boy conference. In defense and stuff like that. And he always comes up big in big moments.
Shaq, who do you think wins the Heisman?
I was going to say, y'all going to hate me because I'm going to agree with y'all completely because defense does win games. I feel like it's one of the more important aspects of football. If you can keep that offense off the field and look, this is very important. How many bad teams do we know that are good because defense? There's a lot of bad offensive teams that stay in it just purely because the defense keeps them on the field.
This is true.
That's all I'm saying. I just
wish that the Heisman Trophy went back to just being the best college football player and not the best quarterback. Yeah. Because the Maxwell Trophy is meant to celebrate the best quarterback. That's what it is. But now you end up having two trophies celebrating the quarterback. Because yes, they in the way that college football has evolved in the last 20 years, the wide open scheming, the quarterbacks are always going to have the numbers.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you're looking at like the best player, that should be a little bit more subjective.
Right.
So I'm just glad that they just put a defensive player in there.
Yeah, and not to say like Bryce Young, he probably will win this, and he deserves it without a doubt. But like you were saying, like the way that the game now favors the college quarterback, would Bryce Young be able to? If you just look at the last 3 games he's had, where he's had 400 plus yards against Georgia, 300 plus yards the week before, threw for 500 and almost 60 yards against Arkansas. It's like, would he be able to have that big of a performance if it was not for the way that the game is now?
If he didn't thump Georgia the way that he did, maybe not, because he did struggle for 3.5 quarters in the Iron Bowl. And he got a lot of stats in those 4 overtimes that really kind of helped him out. But I don't think that Bryce Young is better than what Mac Jones was last year. And Mac Jones didn't win the Heisman because Devontae Smith won it because he was so dominant as a wide receiver in Alabama. When did Alabama start having Heisman winning quarterbacks? That's the weirdest thing.
I mean, no. All I was saying is that unfortunately that's how the NBA NBA set up with point guards and shooting guards always winning MVP for the big part, with the MVP going to a big man for once in a long time. NFL, it's usually the same few handful of players.
Usually quarterback, right?
Quarterback roles. Just some roles people for some reason think are more important than every other role.
Yeah, when the game favors a specific position, that's usually what gets the most gaudy numbers and attention.
Yeah, even though
I just think it has to at some point go beyond stats, because the NFL and even college football, the rules dictate that the passing game is going to have the stats at the end of the day. You're protecting the quarterbacks. You're protecting the wide receivers. You're especially in college football with the targeting rule. Yeah, there's no safety or DB that wants to tag a wide receiver out there in college, because they don't want to miss a half of football and a half of football the next week. And so I just think that at the end of the day, I think Hutchinson is probably a bigger reason why Michigan won the Big Ten, more so than Young and Alabama won the SEC, because I think you could plug a lot of quarterbacks into Alabama and they're going to do exactly what Young did.
Absolutely.
So that's just my 2 cents. I'm railing for the little guy here, even though Hutchinson's a big guy that could whoop my ass.
That's a great point, though. Like I was saying, I don't think Michigan has as much success without Hutchinson. If Alabama, you plugged in Pickett, Shroud, even brought back Mac Jones, I think they have very similar looking stat lines at the end of the day. But we'll see. Maybe the voters will surprise us, and Hutchinson will actually win this thing, which would be awesome. But
I doubt it.
See. Moving on to the NBA, Zion has another setback with his fractured foot. Still no window for his return. Also, a photo of him circled around the internet of him in a workout jumpsuit. Maybe it's just the internet, or maybe it was for real, but did not look very good. Rumor has it he weighs over 300 pounds now. Again, we don't know how true that is, but it's not looking too good for Zion right now, and the Pelicans awaiting his return.
My only comment, not to fat shame or shame people at all, is I purely think injuries come into the fact that his size is playing a big factor in his injuries. His body is not meant to be taking on the type of weight and the role that he's doing. He's doing a lot of jumping. He's doing a lot of physicality. His body's taking a big toll very early in the game for where he's at. Not like I said, not to fat shame him. He's still very much a dominant player and can be when he's healthy. I'm just saying maybe shedding a couple pounds could be very beneficial to you. There's a reason when Shaq got later in his career, they're like, bro, homeboy, lose the weight. Just a tad bit. It ain't good for you.
Well, listen, it's like he's so big, just build wise. I'm not saying weight, you know what I mean?
Right. This is frame.
His frame, yes, his frame and his build. Okay, it'd be what would Shaq's career been like if he was playing in today's NBA, doing the stuff that Zion does now? The NBA was different when Shaq was a center with the Magic. There was a lot of post up, there was a lot of dominating in the middle, but he wasn't taking the damn ball from damn near the free throw line, charging up and dunking on somebody and doing all this weird So he's obviously a generational talent. Mm-hmm. But at this point, you got to wonder, is he ever going to be healthy? Mm-hmm. I mean, his injury, he's had 6 injuries dating back to his year at Duke where he blew out the shoe and hurt his knee. Right. Okay. And then he had a knee issue in the summer league that held him out in 2019. He tore his meniscus his rookie year. He had a right knee soreness that, out of precaution, they held him out of the last couple games in the bubble. And then he had a thumb sprain last year, out of all damn things that Zion Williams is going to hurt, that has nothing to do with his frame or his build. And then now you're talking about an ankle injury. And, listen, could he be pushing 300 pounds if he has an ankle injury and he's not able to do cardio? Yeah, because he has the type of frame to where he needs that workout regimen to keep the weight off. Like, and that's not to knock anybody. That's just his build.
Right.
I mean, shit, I didn't work out for 5 months because I hurt myself because I'm an old 40-year-old man, and I gained like an inch and a half. Like, it happens. And so you just got to be wondering, like, J.A. Morant, like, he was clearly the better player, the safer pick.
Yep.
And I keep thinking back to Greg Oden and Kevin Durant. Like, the Blazers wanted a big man, so they got Oden, right? And then the Sonics ended up picking Durant. And you're like, listen, man, that man already looks like he's 40 years old. He's going to get hurt at some point. And, he hurt his knees like every goddamn year. And he never panned out. So, like, that type of frame, that type of build, with that wear and tear in an 82-game season, I don't think the Pelicans are ever going to get the value they should have got on him. I think he's going to end up going to another team to where he'll play, sparingly. But I kind of start to have the feeling that he's going to end up like the next Derrick Rose, to where he's never going to be able to get through the injuries, man. And it's unfortunate because he could have been a generational talent. Well, he is a generational talent, but we'll never see the heights of what it could have been.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree. Like, he could very well be another Derrick Rose type where it's just one thing after the next, bounces around a bit.
Derrick
it's
Rose,
just
RG3, then Tapo.
Yeah, it's just a shame.
Well, RG3 was management by the Washington football team, though.
Yep.
Like they did him dirty. He never should have been playing in that playoff game against Seattle, where he hurt his knee even worse. Especially when he had Cousins, and as your backup, like, why are you putting RG3 back out there? That was more Shanahan than anything when it came to RG3.
But it's all good because we're going to find it all out in his new book. So pre-order it now on Amazon.
Probably not going to happen.
Moving along, we're going to go back to college football on this one. Or actually, we'll hit this last. We'll keep NBA in rotation here. CJ McCollum out indefinitely. He probably will not be back this year with a collapsed lung. Shaq, you work in the medical field. What can you tell us about what a collapsed lung entails?
I'm saying the people that are prone to that are probably the people skinnier and taller. People usually have that problem going on. Something about body mass and just shit happening. Can you fix that with a chest tube? Yes. You want to force that?
Painful.
I mean, they numb you. You put a tube in, you drain out, the lung reinflates, you go back, but they ain't gonna rush it. So,
is it literally a lung falling over? Or
it's just like a lung.
It's just flattening,
collapsing it of itself.
Oh,
they put the tube in, drain out the excess air that's taking up the space, and lung reinflates back to where it needs to be.
Gotcha.
So,
is that just a contact injury?
No, some people are just walkie-talkie, regular, casual people walking around and just things happen. Cough
Weird.
too hard, do something randomly.
They did say that he had some sort of like rib contusion that happened in that game. So what that probably did, because of his frame, caused irregular breathing, which when you have irregular breathing with something happening in your chest right now, that could force that to kind of happen. And so basically they need that thing to kind of expand a little bit. I don't think he's going to miss the rest of the year.
No, he shouldn't. It's early in the season. I don't think he should miss the rest of the year.
But I think that, I mean, damn, man, that Blazers team right now, I mean, Lillard's already out with an abdomen issue.
Right.
And McCollum was the only thing keeping him afloat at 11 and 14. He was averaging 20.5 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. And their next two out of the next 3 games are against the Warriors and the Suns. So they're about to get their ass beat. And that's just unfortunate for them. But I really hope that Portland is smart about it. And I believe that they will be, because the same company that runs the Blazers, runs the Seahawks, and the same ownership also. And they always go above and beyond, and they're extra careful in making sure of like player safety. So I don't believe they would bring him back too early. I like that they're putting an indefinite thing out there. Like they're not going to try to rush him back too soon, but I don't think I'll miss the rest of the year, but it's definitely going to hurt it's going to hurt them because they can't have McCollum and Lillard out right now.
Yeah.
That's just going to be rough.
Yeah, wishing him a speedy recovery. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like one of those common things that happen. For some reason, I feel like I see like collapsed lungs and shit like that on a weekly basis in the ER.
Damn, strange.
Damn, Shaq.
Saying. It's usually the same group of people that happens to, unfortunately. So,
last but not least on the news, Mario Cristobal leaves the Ducks to become the head coach over at the U down in Miami. So, I'm sorry, Diaz, but apparently they wanted you up out of there, and Mario Cristobal comes to fill in. I saw a bit of his press conference. He seems like he's going to be a great fit, native to the area. He was throwing out some Spanish in there. He was speaking to everybody. It seems like Miami's got their guy. Their boys coming back home to save the city. Mainly, what do you think of the Canes getting their hometown boy?
Okay, there's like an onion. You got to peel back a lot of layers on this one. Okay, so first of all, Cristobal, like you said, he did play for Miami. He won a couple national championships playing football for me. Won back in '89. He split the national championship in '91. I like how people just say they won it in '91, but my Washington Huskies were code national champs that year, so they can kiss my ass. There was no CFS or BCS or other bullshit. My Huskies were also the national champs. So here's the weird thing that's happening right now. And we'll talk about Oregon and we'll talk about Miami, right? So Oregon first. The Pac-12 is going through a weird state right now with Lincoln Riley going to USC. And Mario Cristobal kind of shit in the bed, man. To where the coach before him had like the damn near identical record and he got fired. And then Cristobal, like, he lays an egg in the Pac-12 championship, and like Oregon's like fighting to keep him. Like they wanted to pay him like $10.5 million a year to keep him. Like there was a $10.5 million contract extension ready for him to sign. Oregon offered that before Miami offered the 10-year, $80 million contract. Okay, so Miami offered him $8 million a year for 10 years. So he took less money to go to his alma mater. But the biggest thing in that is that he's going to have the third largest budget for coaches and assistants than anybody in the NCAA, and of course the largest in the ACC. And Clemson just lost their longtime defensive coordinator, so now Dabo Swinney is starting to lose assistants. Like Saban has done tons of time at Alabama, so you got to kind of wonder if Clemson is going to be able to stay Clemson. They had a down year this year, but the biggest thing to me when it comes to Miami is they need a stadium, man. Ever since they lost the Orange Bowl, that atmosphere is just not the same. Like right now they play at the Hard Rock. It is not... It's corporate. It's just like right now we live in Tampa. I went to the USF Florida game, right? It doesn't feel like a college game. It feels out of place watching a college game in an NFL stadium. It does not feel right. They need their own stadium. That's where the money needs to go for them to get that experience and that excitement back. They got a lot of legacy. I hate the Miami Hurricanes, but I love the bravado and the attitude that they always had. Back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, one of the worst things that the NCAA ever did was get rid of the colored visors, because Willis McGahee running roughshod with that green and orange visor was awesome, but now you can't have like the different colors. Do I think he's going to do good? Yes. Do I think he's going to be able to recruit the people he needs to win national championships? No, because the SEC has a stronghold, man. There's a reason why Florida State and Miami have not been able to put good teams out there for like the last 8 to 10 to 15 years outside of Jameis Winston, stealing crab legs and winning a national championship with Florida State. It's because the SEC has a stronghold there. There's just too much talent that the SEC can pick from right now. So he has an uphill battle to climb.
Yeah.
Could he do it? Yes. Is he best suited for it? Absolutely. But he took less money to do it. So clearly that's where he wanted to be. The only bullshit thing he did was he was doing a radio interview where he was like telling he wanted to talk to Oregon fans, and he was like, I want you guys to keep doing great things and go out there and win championships and stuff like that. I was like, man, shut the fuck up. You don't want them to win championships. Like, because if they're winning championships, you're not winning championships. Like, that's the dumbest goddamn thing you could say. So, but, good for him because he's out of the Pac-12 now, and I hate the fucking Oregon Ducks. No natties for them. The Big O stands for 0 natties when it comes to Oregon because they've never won one. And kiss my ass. We're back to the pettiness, America. Yes, we are.
I see.
Yeah, Giovanni's asking, wasn't Diaz from Miami too? He was also from Miami, so I guess the native factor does not have the greatest statistic.
And listen, man, Diaz got screwed over. Like, they still sent that man out on the recruiting trail. He's out there recruiting people while he got fired. Like, he's selling people on a program on a team he's never going to coach. Like, he was literally recruiting people when he got fired. And Miami, in Miami was kind of dirty though, man. Like, they never let Oregon know that they were even talking to their coach. And they let Diaz just hang out there in the wind for like a month. When all the speculation and everything was going out there about his job. I was like, y'all could have done that a little bit different. But, listen, they stole Clemson's AD. So maybe I really think that Clemson is going to start taking a little bit of hit. They're losing their AD. They're losing the defensive coordinator. They're starting to lose some assistants. Not everybody's Nick Saban. So I think Clemson is going to come back down to earth a little bit, which should happen because who the fuck has purple and orange as your colors? Like, that's just ridiculous.
Some pimp colors.
Exactly.
Last question on this one. What do you think was the most impressive win under Cristobal for Oregon, Maitland?
Most impressive win?
Just off the top of your head.
That's the thing. He really didn't have one. He was 35-17.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd have
like to win the Pac-12 is cool, but there's not really a lot of great teams out in the Pac-12 right now. And I'm a Washington Husky fan. He never won a playoff game. Anytime they made the playoffs, they got their ass kicked. And so, like, he always came up small in games that he should win, and that's what makes me feel like he's not going to turn the corner in Miami. Like, every time you thought that Oregon was going to make that run and be a factor in the playoff, they would lay an egg in the Pac-12. And this year they lost to a Stanford team that was just god fucking awful, and they ended up losing in overtime. And then they got their ass kicked 2 out of 3 weeks to Utah, which Utah is not very good. I mean, when your name's the Utes, like, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? But they lost like 38-7 and 38-10, 2 out of 3 weeks. And so, no, like, he never had like that statement win in the Pac-12 like a Chip Kelly had when he was in Oregon, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Wish best of luck to him there.
He was a good recruiter, though. Very good recruiter. He brought in the number 3. He had 3 top 10 recruiting classes the last 3 years. Number 10, number 7, and number 3. Now, a lot of those from the number 3 recruiting class are starting to decommit because they have no idea who the fuck the coach is going to be. So, but he recruited them, and then he left them. So
Yeah, G Money makes a good point. The Ohio State win this year was the best win he had. Which, I mean, hey, you can make the case that very well may be the best one he had. Which,
well, okay, best win, yes. Statement win, no, because he still shit the bed at the end of the year to where you made that win irrelevant.
Yep.
Like you never capitalized on that win. Now going into the big house and winning it, that probably is the biggest win that the Pac-12 has had in probably the last 5 years. Going up against like other Power Fives, but he didn't do anything with it, so no one's gonna remember that. You know what I mean?
right. And Ohio State damn near came back in that game. Like, if it wasn't for fucking CJ Shroud getting his head out of his ass, like, Ohio State could have actually pulled off that comeback. But anyway, we're getting into the weeds on that one. Let's move into the last segment of the show here in Ride or Die in 5. So we have our records here on the screen. For those who are new to the show, this is where we predict a few of the upcoming games in the next few days here. As far as betting lines go, of course. So my record, Shaq and I are tied again, back at 23 and 27. A lot of us all picked almost the same exact things this last week. I think Shaq was different on one game. But Malin, I just went back to his past. Basically, I went back to Thanksgiving and forward, and since then he's been 8-1.
Goddamn right.
So clearly, if you're looking for money to put down, Shaq and I have losing records, and Malin has a very clear winning record.
Or if you're OG fans and you go back to 60-something episodes, you just maintain and
just stay loyal to
the OG picks and stick to the 23 and 27.
Listen, if people have been taking your advice for 62 episodes about betting money, they're on fucking welfare right now, Shaq. Let's just be clear.
Well, first of all, if you're taking my advice and anything, you're really in the low part of your life, you might as well continue where you at. So, look, I never did promise you great choices. I just promised you choices.
America, there's still a lot of football left in this year. We might be able to come over 500 and be profitable this year. So we're just putting that out there.
Exactly. Guess what? If you come up, that's what I'm saying. We can win out the rest of the season.
Right. As long as you are in the plus and not the negative at the end of the year.
Exactly.
That's all
plus
that
by
matters.
one game or not, it's still plus.
Amen. Anyway. First game tomorrow night. This is a game, folks. Steelers at Vikings. Steelers are 3.5 point underdogs on the road. Plus 148 money line. Vikings are minus 168. Over unders 43.5 points. Low there. But yeah, this is a Thursday night game. Shaq, what is your team going to do?
I say the Steelers win this game. They come off thinking they're the shit coming off the Ravens victory. They come off. Very quick turnaround for old Big Ben's rusty elbows and knees, but I still think he comes through. Take the money line on that. Look, all I'm saying, I'm trying to. This surprised me in his last game on winning this. So I say they come through and they continue to surprise me and win these games. So go ahead and take the Steelers to win this game.
I'll make this quick. I'm not going to say Steelers money line because the moment I actually say that, they will lose. Right. So I'm saying take the points for the Steelers, 3.5. The Vikings this entire year, I'm pretty sure to this day, every single game has finished within one possession. So take the 3.5 points for sure for the Steelers. They play tight anyway themselves. So like Shaq said, they are, Big Ben, short turnaround here. So you don't know what you're going to get out of those elbows. But yeah, I think this will be a close game either way, no matter who wins it. And I can't see Pittsburgh losing this by a significant amount. So I say take the points for Pittsburgh. Malin?
All right. Did you say that Minnesota has played every game but a one-possession game?
I believe so.
No, they whooped my Seahawks ass. It was like 30-16. So that was there's at least one game where they whooped some ass, and that was against my Seahawks. But no, the tricky part of the money line is that you're giving the Steelers 3.5, right?
Right.
So I picked the Steelers to win the game when I was doing the NFC North. But if you're giving me 3.5 points, I'm taking the Steelers under 3.5 points. Listen, America, listen to me. Don't listen to Shaq. Okay, there's a reason behind my madness. He's talking about rusty ass elbows with Big Ben because he got all the Pittsburgh steel in there.
And I'm honest with y'all. I told y'all he's rusty.
I know. But over the last 5 games, this is what Minnesota's defense has given up point-wise, okay? Against Baltimore, 34 points. Against the Chargers, 20 points. Against Green Bay, 31. Against San Francisco, 34. Against the Lions, 29. Might as well have been 30 points. So 4 out of the last 5 games, they're giving up 30 points, that defense. So even though Kirk Cousins is going to keep putting up MVP stats, which I do really think he might have a good game, okay? But I think TJ Watt is going to probably disrupt a lot of that offense. And any defense that let Jared Goff go for 296 yards and 3 touchdowns, I got to think that Big Ben can pull something out of that rusty-ass elbow and get a W. So I am take Pittsburgh and a 3.5. If it was 1 point or 2 points, that'd be tricky. But if you give me 3.5, I'm taking Pittsburgh on that one.
You hear that, y'all? You take Pittsburgh.
So Malin and I are in agreement on taking the points. Shaq says take them outright on the money line. We will see on that one. We're moving along to stay in the AFC North. A big divisional matchup here. The Ravens and the Browns this Sunday at 1:00. Ravens are 2.5 point underdogs on the road. They are plus 115 money line. Browns are minus 135. Over under is 41.5. Malin, what do you like in this one?
Well, I know it's only 2.5, but you got to take Baltimore on this one, even if it's Cleveland. Cleveland has only covered the point spread 3 times this year.
Jesus.
3 times they've covered the point spread. And if anyone has seen Happy Feet Mayfield play, it's not looking good. He's playing very inconsistent. I know he's trying to gut it out. He probably shouldn't even be starting. The bye week is not going to make him any more healthy. They already said that all the injuries he has, he's going to be dealing with through the rest of the year. So I admire his guttiness and the bravado of wanting to be there for his team, but he's probably hurting his team, much like Wilson probably hurt, us when we played, like Green Bay and Arizona, like coming back from an injury too soon. Mayfield is probably going to end up hurting his team more than he helps them. And so I'm definitely going to take Baltimore with the 2.5. I mean, and like Shaq said, like he thought that the Ravens should have won the fucking game against Pittsburgh, even though that's his favorite team. And I think that I don't know why Baltimore is not getting Bateman more involved in the passing game, but Freeman has been putting up a lot of great fantasy points. And Lamar Jackson is still Lamar Jackson, and I think that they're going to win that game.
Shaq?
I just want to say, y'all hate against me for voting against my same team, but then vote against me for choosing teams just off of bullshit. I want y'all to commit to whether I should be choosing teams based off of stats and what's going on, or choose with what do you want me to pick?
I just want you to make a pick that doesn't have like pettiness involved, which it doesn't seem like every pick you ever make is based off of emotion and how does it make Shaq happy if the outcome comes out in your favor. I'm just analytical when it comes to these picks.
I'm sorry that I choose half my picks or 90% of my picks is a big jump, but most of my picks with what makes me happy at the end of the day. But anyway, I chose Baltimore. Half of the reason I choose Baltimore is purely because I feel like Baltimore is a complete team and better, whereas the Browns, they're a good team, but their weakest position should probably be their best position. Is Baker Mayfield holding them back? And secondly, I already know Baltimore's going to win out of the division, so they might as well continue doing well. I do not need the Browns doing any better than they are, so there's where I lie with that.
Don't we also have to come to a point, though, where we stop saying that Cleveland is as talented as they are because even without Baker Mayfield, they're not playing good ball, man. The offense is not clicking. The defense is not playing up to snuff like they did last year. Outside of Miles Bryant getting drug tested every time he's sleeveless, they're just not playing good football this year.
But they're not.
They're not.
I just say they finished last place in our division. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, that's damn sure going to happen. But I think that there's a difference between being a good football team and being a talented football team. There's a lot of teams that are talented, but it doesn't mean they're good. I mean, even the Eagles a long time back, you had Vince Young as a backup quarterback saying that they were like the best team in football, and they didn't do shit. So I just think that, talent is there, but good football team, no, they are not playing good football this year.
They're very talented, but just coming up short in every subject they need to be good in. So.
Yeah, sadly I had them going to the AFC Championship game with the Bills this year. That is clear. None of that is happening this year. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I say take Baltimore and the points to just win this game outright. I mean, I guess either way doesn't really matter. But yeah, Browns big disappointment this year. Big disappointment. Mayfield, whether he's hurt or not, like he shouldn't be playing. I don't know why he's on this kick to gut it out and, be Iron Man. It's like, bro, please sit down. Case Keenum is probably going to do the same thing that you're doing right now. So you might as well sit down and try and rest and get better over time. Yeah, so I say take Baltimore. Cleveland, sorry, but pack it up. You're about to be at the bottom of the AFC North just like you've been for the past 2,000 years. So it shouldn't be anything foreign to you guys. You had that 1 year, but it's cute.
Yeah.
We'll move it right along. This is the big game of the weekend. Buffalo at Tampa. This is Sunday at 4:30. This should be the Sunday night game, but we have the pleasure of watching the Bears and the Packers play this Sunday night. So mark your calendar, set your alarm.
Okay, first of all, why did the Seahawks and Niners get flexed out, but the Packers and the Bears didn't get flexed out? Because the Bears are just hot fucking garbage. And this game has been on the docket like the whole fucking year. So that is just...
Yeah, I don't know.
Ridiculous.
I don't know why it was. I don't know. I just don't know who's sitting there going, "Oh man, I can't wait for the Bears and the Packers to play each other this year." Like,
well, I know that networks like Fox and CBS, like they have vetoes to where like there are certain games they can hold on to and stuff like that, but they only have so many a year.
Yeah.
But I mean, this one should definitely be prime time. Like all of America should be able to watch Buffalo get their fucking teeth kicked in by the Bucs.
I am going to agree with you. I think I'll just take it right there. I say the Bucs cover the 3.5 points. By the way, the over-under is 52.5 points. But yeah, I think Tampa handles their business at home and wins this by at least a touchdown. I think this will be fairly convincing, and they keep the Bills in their disarray. Shaq.
Like I said, as much as y'all hate me, I'm still gonna choose the Bucs to win this game outright. Y'all,
damn it!
This is the Bucs. Our prediction is for them to go very far in playoffs. I don't think this team's gonna stop them from reassuring us of this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and vote for the Bucs to go ahead and take control of this game.
Well, America, this is where my 8-1 record starts going to the fucking toilet when Shaq agrees with me on everything. No, listen, the Bucs they've basically showed America that they can win anyway. Like 2 weeks ago, Leonard Fournette had 4 touchdowns. Last week, Brady had 4 touchdowns. They can win any way, shape, or form as long as they're clicking, which there's no reason to believe they won't against Buffalo. Because Buffalo is another one of those very talented teams. It's just very inconsistent. And the last 3 weeks, the Bucs have covered the spread. Okay, and Buffalo, they started off strong. They covered the spread 3 weeks in a row, but they've only been 4-7 the last they're 4-7 out of their last 11, and it's basically cover, don't cover, cover, don't cover, cover, don't cover. And so they're due not to cover. And so I do think that Buffalo is going to still be a little bit demoralized over the fact that even though there's only 3 pass attempts and they couldn't stop the run and they don't know what the hell they're doing, going into Tampa Bay, I think they're just going to Tampa's going to win outright. I don't even think you really need the points on this one.
Yeah, especially if, they're coming from Buffalo, where we just saw it was 30 some odd degrees the other night, to Tampa, which I would imagine is probably going to be in, at worst, the 70s or maybe the 60s on this Sunday night.
It's going to be 83.
Right. Yeah, and they'll have a bunch of sweaty Tampa citizens yelling at them. I don't see how the Bills win this game. But moving into the NBA for the Ride or Die in 5, this is where we kind of put the betting lines to the side here. We're just going to pick these outright. This Saturday, interesting game. We got a couple interesting games this Saturday, but we have the Bulls going to Miami at 8 o'clock. The Bulls are on a winning streak. I think they play the Raptors tomorrow night. I would imagine they continue that winning streak, no problem. I'm going to guess that they come into Miami with that streak still intact. However, I think the Heat snap that streak and send the Bulls right up out of there. Bulls have been playing extremely well this year, which was kind of what I predicted. But, DeRozan, Ball, Caruso, they have a squad over there that is just no big superstar that's taking up all the, sucking up all the air out of the situation. They all are unselfish, playing really well. But the Heat, I think they are primed up, ready to take down a team like this who's on a hot run. They're at home. I think that the Bulls are coming in for a wild ride this Saturday night. So I say take the Heat to win this game. Shaq.
No bias, but I'm also gonna pick the Heat to win this game.
100% bias.
Yeah, 95% biased. Even just watching this game of them going against Milwaukee still reassures me that they still got some fire underneath them, burn them, pushing them. I say they come across and beat them this next game. I vote for my Heat. Yeah, buddy.
Malin?
I'm going Miami on this one. Last time they played was in Miami, and the Heat won 107-104, and that was without Hero there. DeRozan is out. Javonte Green's out. Caruso's out.
Yikes.
Adebayo is out as well.
Right. He's gonna be out for a little while.
Yep, he's out with a thumb injury. Now I read that Shaq, I'm having a brain fart. Who's the best player in Miami? I'm literally having a brain fart.
Butler.
Can't think of the name. God damn it. Yes, I'm reading that Butler's going to be out. That I read that he was in the COVID protocol. He might be there. So you're looking at a game that is losing a little bit of its luster without DeRozan in there, and if Butler doesn't play. But Butler might clear the protocol. But with DeRozan out, I just don't see Chicago winning this game. And when you're talking about the money line, I know we're taking the money line out of it, but 61% of the money line is going towards Miami right now. And Vegas knows what Vegas knows.
Right.
So I'm taking Miami.
We're all in agreement on that one. Last but not least, this is the actual primetime game this Saturday, 8:30 on ABC. Golden State at the Sixers. Golden State with a much better record than the Sixers have right now. I'm just going to take the obvious one here. I say the Warriors beat them on the road. Malin, what do you like on this one?
Well, the Warriors beat the shit out of them 96-116 when they played just on the 24th of November. Now, Embiid was not playing in that game. But they still gave up a 19-point lead. So could the Sixers like jump up at some point and take a little bit of a lead? Yes, but no lead is safe when you're playing this Warrior squad. Iguodala should return from his knee injury for Saturday's game. So that's even going to help. Now, 68% of the money line is going for the Warriors, which is, in other words, why I'm going to take the Warriors. But one of the other things that I'm really kind of wondering is, like, is that going to be the game that Curry breaks the all-time three-point record?
Right.
Because right now it's between him and Ray Allen, where Ray Allen's got 2,973. Curry's got 2,956. He's only 15 behind. Now he's playing tonight.
Right.
I don't think he's going to break it tonight because the NBA record for a three, believe it or not, belongs to Thompson at 14. Curry's all-time best is only 13. But he's only 15 behind. So I'm kind of wondering, like, is that going to be the night that he wins it? Which you would want someone to break that type of record at home. Because you're not really going to get the same kind of fanfare like when you're on the road. But at the same token, like a lot of people, there's been a lot of conversation about would Allen be, because we're throwing up more threes now than we ever have, right, in the NBA. But even so, man, like Curry is making damn near double the threes.
Right.
Per game than Allen did in his career. It took 1,300 games for Ray Allen to get the 2,973. It's only taken 785 games for Curry to get the 2,956. So anyone out there that wants to say that Curry is not the best pure shooter that we've ever seen in this league, you're just out of your goddamn mind. And I love Ray Allen because he played for my Sonics before the fucking Thunder stole him, and I'm glad you lost by 73, assholes.
Petty.
But Curry, that's just a huge thing, man. The fact that he's going to break that record before even playing 800 games, he's going to win that by almost 500 less games.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I think right now he's probably within 10 or so. But they're in the third quarter at this point, so it does not seem like it will be happening tonight. But I do think that by this game, yeah, he'll probably break it at that point, which will be just crazy to see that him being Ray Allen's record is just nuts. Like you said, with a significant amount of less games to do that is just asinine. But Shaq, who do you think wins this one?
I'm going to vote Golden State because sure, Curry could be feeling himself with a handful of threes left in him to break a record. He's probably shooting out of his mind at home and doing all this, so I'm going to choose him to do it. And like you said, the fans are going to be feeling themselves just knowing Curry's going to be out there breaking records, winning games. So that's going to be all the motivation it needs to come out there and win this game.
I do think that it'll be, Jesus, hit a ridiculous 1-and-1 3-pointer, but I think it'll be one of those situations where even though it's in Philly, the fans will still kind of be egging him on, knowing that he's about to hit that. So I'm sure to him it won't feel as good, but the atmosphere will probably be anticipating him hit that record.
And how bad are the Sixers playing to where it's probably going to feel like a home game for the Warriors because Curry's probably going to break that record? I mean, you just got so much drama going on with them between Embiid always getting fucking hurt and, the whole Ben Simmons thing. It's almost like people forget that Ben Simmons is in the league, just like a lot of people forget that Deshaun Watson's in the league in the NFL. But, America, like, don't be dissuaded over the fact that Shaq agreed with me on every fucking game. He probably looked at that 8-1 and just wanted to start piggybacking off of me. So he just wants to start winning some bets here. So don't dissuade that from.
I did pick before you on like one of these picks. So
wait, which one did you pick before me?
The Steelers game. I picked before you in the Steelers game.
You did take the money line. Malin and I took the points. I think.
Yeah, you took the overall, so that's not even the same. Like your team has to win outright for you to get a win on that one.
Right. The rest of them we all are in agreement on, though. But anyway,
I feel like y'all just hate on me no matter what I choose.
Listen, Shaq, you know I love you. You're a great person. It's a shame. It's a shame that you haven't had the same success in life as Peyton Manning having. You guys share the same forehead.
I sort of got it.
yeah.
If there's anything we can't go without saying on this show, I know we have to talk about Dwight Howard, the Steelers, but we got to, for some reason, talk about my forehead every.
I've been holding on to the Peyton Manning reference to the forehead for the whole fucking show, and I was like, you know what? I can't let the show end without saying it.
How many?
I had to fit it in there somehow.
How many episodes have you been on this show, Malin?
Enough to keep a streak alive talking about your forehead.
I feel like at least the last 15 episodes or so. I feel like you've been on this show. You've mentioned my forehead for every last one of them.
It's a great forehead, man.
Yes, I agree with that. This is reflective forehead. This is all-star forehead, but
oh man, I'm just saying we don't need to send satellites into outer space to find like other life. Like they just looking through some sort of telescope and see that shit, and they're just like, yes, there's life out there. There has to be a big brain in that head. That's what's happening.
The fans out there just sitting away. It's like I know there's a forehead reference out there somewhere, just waiting on it.
If there's not a forehead reference, then you are watching a group of imposters record this show.
Exactly.
That's what we've learned.
Exactly.
Listen, and at the end of the day, my head still looks like that fucking Halo Evo helmet. I'm just saying. It does. The angle of this camera that I got going on right now is not doing me any justice. This goddamn thing is a beacon of light, people.
And unfortunately, no matter what angle you catch this camera on, it will forever be a big-ass forehead on my head.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there will.
You could turn this camera off. I'm sorry, the audio listeners still know that I have a big ass forehead.
Because I will let them know.
Exactly.
The only difference between yours and mine is my head looks like a 60-watt fucking light bulb. And
60-watt, huh?
Yours, yeah. There's a warmth to it. There's a warmth. It's not a LED. It's not blinding. There's a lovable factor to my head. Shaq is still hanging on though. He hasn't done the whole shaving thing yet.
No, not yet. Wait till I hit my 30s the next year or so, and then I'll be blinding people.
Autumn and I have been rewatching the Harry Potter movies, and she said that Shaq and Emma Watson would be a good fit because you guys both have big foreheads.
Yeah, buddy. You heard that,
God
Emma Watson.
Damn.
Shout out to you, Emma Watson.
Okay.
Yeah, but how do you take wedding photos then? Because like someone's not going to be in frame. You can't.
From a downward.
You got to get a wide lens.
From a downward
Get
angle,
a really
shooting
wide
upward.
lens for that.
Downward angle shooting upward. You kind of miss a lot of the forehead.
No flash, please, nobody. Any flash, you will blind yourself.
I think
First of all,
I'll take a
Shaq,
matchup.
Shaq, this is why you're not going to get a whole lot of dates for your birthday, because you got to know that the angle that you want to take a picture with a woman is not from the bottom up.
Yeah,
the most flattering view is from the top going down.
But we got big foreheads. That's the last thing I want to see. You got big
But yeah,
foreheads.
because they won't see anything else. It's just
I'm saying is I will take the Emma Watson matchup any other week.
Okay, we need to get out of this show.
I would say he's shooting for the moon, but it's already on his shoulders. Oh shit!
All right, this show's gotten out of hand now. We haven't talked about sports in the past like 5 minutes. I feel like
Once you get me started, I can't stop. It just
Exactly.
comes to me because I'm an asshole.
we have not talked about
Yeah.
sports. We've been talking about our forehead for the past 5 minutes.
And Shaq is already referring to him and Emma Watson as we need to wrap this up.
Yeah,
Without a
Me and
doubt.
Emma Watson are trying to figure
He's
it out.
already married at this point. He's about to start spending her money.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm planning our honeymoon on her money. So y'all look, y'all go ahead hit up Emma Watson's Instagram or whatever.
Okay, don't do
She's
that.
about to expect a patron of your ass or something.
Expelliarmus on you.
Y'all got some look.
All right, folks. If you want a Harry Potter podcast, you will not find it here. I promise you that.
Nope.
You need to search elsewhere. Anything else you guys want to mention that does not regard Shaq or anything non-sports related before we get out of here?
No.
Okay, there we go.
The only thing I want to say is that I made a reference earlier about like Houston should join the Big 12, and my Seahawks play them this week, so I'm really hoping that that does not become material that can be used against me if they lose. So the Seahawks better fucking step up and win this fucking game, because the moment I said it, I was like, shit. So they better come through and win that fucking game in a convincing fashion. So...
All right, folks. We want to thank you all for watching, for listening. We want to wish you all, your team, a very good luck this weekend. Unless you're, of course, a Houston Texans fan or a Minnesota Viking fan, then I guess to hell with you this weekend. But yep. And we will talk to you all next week in the crazy world of sports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and have a good week.
Peace. Love y'all.
Peace out.